Well, good morning, everybody. I just want to welcome you. I am Denise Rosier, and I am going to ask you to join me on our very first Joy song, and this song is called Come, Come As You Are. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, come. This day we have made with God. Come see what love has done. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, come. As we gather in this sacred place, Spirit leads us face to face. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, 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 come.
Good morning. What a wonderful start to our day, right? Thank you for joining Unity of the Valley's Sunday Cyber Service. I'm Mark Sowell, and I'll be serving as your service leader today. This morning, as you heard, we're blessed to welcome back Denise Rosier, joining us from Colorado to provide not only our music, but our message. Denise, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We greatly appreciate our musicians and our speakers who are willing and able to join us on Zoom until we return to our beautiful center. We're blessed to have several volunteers who make this service happen digitally each Sunday. Let me introduce you to those who are helping us out this morning. Jennifer Stevens is serving as our daily word reader. Lynn Beckedel is going to be delivering the prayer box blessings and leading our affirmations. Tina Reynoso is handling back-end Zoom matters to ensure our service goes smoothly. Deanna Reese has created our beautiful slides, and Catherine Belisle is showing them now. Thank you all for helping out. We want to move on, Catherine, here, a couple slides. A few reminders, unless you have a role in today's service, please keep your microphone on mute until the end. If you multitask while you watch the service, turn off your video so as not to distract other viewers. Those controls are in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And finally, please refrain from using the chat feature during the service. Thank you. Now get comfortable, tune out any distractions, and let in the love and light. After the service, you're welcome to stay on and say hello to other Unity members and guests during our online social time. Your mics will be unmuted. Now I'd like to introduce Denise so as not to interrupt the flow of our meditation time later. Denise Rosier is an award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, and recording artist. She is best known for writing music for New Thought spiritual communities and open and affirmed church denominations. Her concerts, music and message programs, and enriching workshops are all part of her passion to help people come to an understanding of one another through music, conversation, and their oneness in the divine. Denise's original songs have been released on 5 solo studio albums, numerous compilation albums, and television. You may recognize her song, Spirit is in This Place, because we sing it at Unity of the Valley. In addition to winning 4 Positive Music Awards, Denise is the first and only artist to push New Thought music through the genre barrier by winning 2 nominations for Best Contemporary Christian Gospel Album at the Independent Music Awards in 2016 and 2019. Her latest album is called Heart of Praise, Volume 1. Denise, it's our honor to host you today.
Thank you so much. It's really my honor to be back here with all of you again. And so this is very exciting, and it's going to be a good morning, I think.
I agree. We're in, it looks like you're going to be talking about the parable of the Yorkies. So all of us dog lovers will look forward to hearing what this story entails. Let's go, since we're talking about dog lovers, let me just give you a quick few dog jokes that I got for you. Why not?
I may take them from you.
What did the dog say to the sandpaper? Rough.
My God.
What happens when it rains cats and dogs? You can step in a poodle. What do you call a dog with a surround system? A subwoofer. And finally, what is the dog's favorite city? New Yorkie, of course. So those are my quick dog jokes. And luckily, Denise was unmuted, so I get to have some feedback of laughter, which is nice.
We need a laugh track on here.
Right. At this time, we'd like to welcome anyone who's watching our Zoom broadcast for the first time. Please join me in this special blessing. We offer you peace, love, and friendship. We bless you, and we're glad you're here. It's now time for the reading of the daily word, followed by the blessing of the prayer box and the reading of our affirmations.
Morning. We now move deeper into spirit with the daily word. Today's daily word is dream. I turn my dreams into reality. Some of the most audacious, bold, history-making events began as dreams, born in the imaginations of those who understood the problem and potential of humanity and worked to realize their vision. Even if my dreams do not change the world, they have the power to change my life. Today, I remember those whose dreams were fueled by their hard work, faith, and determination. I look to their example when my dreams feel far away and I'm running low on hope. I rekindle my dreams through my imagination, which keeps them vivid. My strength helps me remain committed to their realization, and my zeal renews my enthusiasm to work toward creating the life and the world of my dreams. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Joel 2, verse 28. Again, the word for today is dream.
This prayer box holds an infinite number of virtual prayers. So I invite you to silently add your own name and the names of anyone in your heart or on your mind who may need prayer support. Given the current situation in our country, let us add this prayer today. We know that God, Spirit, is everywhere present and therefore at the heart of every man, woman, and child. We affirm that peace, love, and wisdom guide us. And we call forth divine right action in our country this following week and in the days ahead. Thank you with all our hearts, Spirit, and so it is. These virtual prayers are known and will be addressed by the infinite. We know that the truth behind all appearance of disharmony is the divine and perfect presence of the infinite, which we call God, Spirit, or Source. We call forth within all people the wisdom, strength, the love and peace, the wholeness and vitality of this perfect presence. We affirm that the requests in our prayer box in our hearts and on our minds are being resolved in divine timing for the highest good of all concerned. We send love and light not only to these people and circumstances, but to our community, our country, and the world. May the love of God enfold us. May the wisdom of God uphold us. May the peace of God inspire us and help us to know in our hearts that all is well. And so it is.
So it is.
Please join me in the affirmation for Sunday, January 17th. Everyday goodness. My good has no boundaries. And our affirmation for our spiritual community. We give thanks that Unity of the Valley is a prosperous, thriving, inspired, connected community. We are growing spiritually and manifesting our dreams and goals in an energy of love, peace, and joy. Namaste.
Tiny drops of water bouncing on my roof, drumming out a song of love, pounding out the truth. You send them to remind me, one for every blessing on me, and oh, they keep coming, overflowing. Every day your goodness finds me, every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day, every day. In the rush of freeway traffic, in the hush of a sunset, you get my attention, I'm listening. It's a private conversation, you and I in one vibration, and oh, it moves me so amazing. Every day your goodness finds me, every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day, every day. There is no one like you. There is no one like you. You love me. You love me. Every day your goodness finds me. Every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory, amazed by the sight of you. This love is everlasting, and you find a way to show me every day, every day, oh, every day. There is no one like you, unlike you, every day. Oh, good morning. It is so great to be with you. And again, I am Denise Rosier, and here I am with my second time here with all of you out in Minnesota. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. I hope it's not too cold out there. It's pretty nice out here in Colorado Springs. Today, I want to share with you about goodness. And our affirmation, as we were reading earlier, is every day goodness finds me. My good has no boundaries. Will you say that with me one more time? Every day goodness finds me. My good has no boundaries. And so we are going to talk about goodness today. When I wrote Every Day, the chorus in that song is every day your goodness finds me. Every day your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory and amazed by the sight of you. When I wrote that song, it was to illustrate how God's fingerprints show up in just regular, everyday situations in our lives. At any moment, we can look around and we can find some evidence that we are on God's mind. We can see something, we can hear something, we can experience something that will affirm for us that the universe is in full support of us. And I think that it's important that that happens because even though we fundamentally know that that's true, we know that that God is for us. But sometimes we can get a little bit wobbly in those situations, or just in situations that pop up in our lives, like when you are a musician during a pandemic and you wake up on March 15th and you go, what just happened? My entire tour calendar just blew up. And what am I supposed to do now? So it's times like that, that the evidence of goodness, that the goodness of God surrounds us and enfolds us becomes particularly important. Now, before we get any farther into this, let's talk about goodness. What is goodness? I think that we think we know what goodness is because it has the word good in it. But right where you are right now, take a moment to define what is goodness and why should it find you every day? And I think that second part is where we kind of go, actually, I'm not really sure now what goodness is. So I'm going to define it for you in three parts. The first part is goodness is often used in place of God or divine power. So we say, oh, thank goodness, or for goodness sake. And we always do that. So goodness in that way is used in place of God or divine power. The second way that we use goodness is when we try to define something that is nourishing. We say that broccoli has all of that vitamin goodness. Or my favorite, which is full of that chocolatey goodness. Now, I don't know if chocolate is necessarily nutritious, but I do know that it is good. And the third way that we use goodness is when we define the essence of good itself. So now do you see what it is that finds you every day? It's this divine presence that is nourishing to our souls, that is the very essence of good itself. And every day, this divine power is finding a myriad of ways to show you that it is everywhere and in everything. But it's up to us to recognize it and to allow it into our lives and allow it to take root in our lives. And this is important because all of that shapes the way that we think and live. And the way that we think and live is vital to the lives that we create for ourselves every day. And so let me just give you an example. So in the very first verse of the song that I just sang, Every Day, this person wakes up on a rainy day and they can hear the rain, and they say, tiny drops of water bouncing on my roof, drumming out a song of love and pounding out the truth. You send them to remind me, one for every blessing on me, and they keep coming, overflowing. Now, what if I had written instead, tiny drops of water bouncing on my roof? That sound drives me insane, and it keeps me from doing everything that I want to do every day. It's the same person, the same rain, the same roof, the same universe, the same day. But a completely different attitude created a markedly different reality that day. Our thoughts are so important. And understanding that the goodness of God always finds us, and our willingness to keep our minds pointed toward that good really hit home for me when I was out hiking one day and I got a call from my mom to tell me that one of her dogs had died. I was hiking out in one of our awesome trails, and it was a beautiful day, and the trees were green and the sky was blue, and I was just having this awesome God time out there, and the phone rang. And normally I would not answer the phone, but it was my mom, so you got to answer the phone. And what was so interesting was I realized that during that call, what was unfolding in this conversation was this amazing life lesson in two parts. One was in the story, and the other was in the storyteller. And I ended up calling it the parable of the Yorkies. So check this out. This is what happened. So just to give you a little bit of background, my parents, since the 80s, have always had Yorkies. They've always had two, and they've always been Yorkshire Terriers. The only thing that ever changed about that scenario were the names of the dogs and the degree to which they smelled. So if you saw a picture of my mom and her dogs, you would think that my mom got older and her dogs lived to be 35 years old, because it never, ever changed. So this current set is Muffin and Lucy. Now, Muffin spends her day in this constant stream of goodness. In fact, it's kind of a stream of consciousness. So Muffin will wake up and she'll go and chase the cat. And when she's done chasing the cat, she will lay down and take a nap. And if you call Muffin, her ears will stand up and she'll start running to you unless she needs to scratch herself, or unless something else catches her attention. I don't know if you have a dog like that, but that's how Muffin is. Lucy was very skittish and anxious. And she always had one eye on Muffin. It was a little jealous. So Lucy was kind of like, who's petting Muffin that should be petting me? I can hear Muffin. What's Muffin getting that maybe I'm going to miss out on, so I better go over there? Or if you gave Muffin a snack, you would have to give Lucy her snack first. Otherwise, she would start growling and she would get really angry. So whenever my mom gave snacks to the dogs, she'd have to keep Muffin aside. She'd cut up the snacks because she always handmade all their food. So she would cut up all of this fresh food and give it to the dogs. So she would give Lucy hers first. Muffin would stand over the side. Lucy would start getting anxious and she would hoard her food. And Muffin would just be standing over there going, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what kind of snack I'm going to get, but I know I'm going to get it and it's going to be great. And so one day, my mom was cutting up their snacks and Muffin's off to the side. Lucy's getting her snack. And I think what happened is she could hear Muffin in the background and she started to get really anxious and really agitated. And so she started hovering over her snack and she gobbled it down and she choked and she died. And when my mom told me what had happened to Lucy, when I thought about her personality, it actually didn't surprise me that Lucy had choked and died. But what was interesting to me was what my mom said after that. And she said, you know, the lesson God showed me is that you could die at any time. And so you better make sure your soul is ready. And I thought, I don't think that's the lesson at all. I think the lesson is in the dogs. Lucy always lived in fear and lack. She was afraid that her good could be taken away from her at any moment. And she was constantly hoarding and looking over her shoulder. She lived that way every single day of her life. In fact, it killed her. Muffin lives in this constant stream of goodness. And I asked my mom, I said, you know, you are the provider of everything for both of these dogs. Was it ever in your mind to give something to Muffin and not give it to Lucy? No. So Lucy never had a reason to live like that. She had no data points to tell her that anything, that her good was ever going to be taken away and given to somebody else. Every day of her life, she woke up running interference. But she could have lived knowing that there was good enough for everyone, that she was always going to be provided for. Muffin lives as if she's knowing that she's blessed all the time. She's still living that way today. She's still receiving. She's still happy. She's still abundant. In fact, she's so abundant in her snacks that my wife, Christy, and I call her Beryl. And she's going to live like that all the rest of the days of her life, living in that goodness. 2 dogs, the same house, the same circumstances, and yet 2 different ways of being in the world that yielded distinctly different qualities of life. And as I pulled back from that story a little bit, I realized that my mom and I had actually fallen into this Muffin and Lucy situation. My mom's focus was on Lucy. And this isn't a judgment on my mom. I think that, you know, you take away what you take away. But my mom's focus was on Lucy, and she saw this message as an admonition or a warning about her life. And my focus was on Muffin as an example of this attitude of, my good is for me. It can never be taken away. It can't be exhausted. It can't be transferred over to somebody else. My good is for me. Somebody else's good is for them. And so I don't ever need to look over my shoulder. I don't ever need to covet what somebody else has. I don't need to hoard anything. I don't need to hoard myself, whether that is emotionally or socially or financially. The universe is abundant and holds enough for everyone. And so, because of that, I'm not going to live my life focused on the fear that my life or my opportunities or my sense of well being, any of that could ever be limited or taken away at any moment. Because when I start to live a life that feels restricted like that, it'll choke me. So here we are, my mom and I, two people listening to the same scenario and the same story and the same opportunities to translate it or interpret it. But how differently did we leave that phone call from each other and go back into our lives? And so I have a scripture that I really love that I think illustrates this, and it's Psalm 145:16. And it says, God, you open your hands and satisfy the desire of every living thing. And if you could just put up that slide right now, there's a slide that we have that is actually of Muffin and Christy. That's my mom's dog, Muffin. And I think that Muffin would agree. God, you open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. Every day, your goodness finds me. Every day, your heart beats true. I'm alive in the light and the glory every day. God will find a million ways to remind you that you are loved and supported and abundant. And you could take that slide down. It can be materially, it could be in the simplicity of raindrops that are falling to count out your blessings. Goodness could come in the reassurance of a phone call that you get that's just out of the blue from a friend that affirms some goodness that is coming to you. It could be in the wisdom of animals. But are you willing to recognize it? Are you willing to make room for it? And are you willing to allow it to take root in you and allow it to sink in and cover all of those spaces where you might be a Lucy instead of a Muffin? Examine your first thoughts in the morning. When you get up and you see a sunrise, do you look out there and go, there it is? Every day, I wake up in the morning and the universe celebrates my life with this sunrise. It happens every morning. Universe celebrates me. Or do you wake up and look out and look past the sunrise and start counting all of the things that are have tos and don't want tos and what's going to be a pain in your ass that day? It's the same day. It's the same you. It is the same sunrise. How are you going to take that in? And the thing is, we don't only get reminders of goodness. We can be reminders of goodness. because I am willing to bet that every single one of us knows a Lucy, right? It's that person at work or that family member or the friend who always wants to bend your ear about what just isn't working for them, what their problems are. And anytime they get a chance to talk to you, that's what they want to talk about. Your care and your support of them can be a reminder of the goodness of God. You can help them recognize and make room for and allow the goodness of God into their life. And so you are being that reminder, but in doing that, you are also keeping your mind pointed toward the goodness of God. Every day, goodness finds you, and your good knows no boundary. Every day. And so, what I want to do right now is we're going to head in toward meditation. And so, I'm just going to sing the song, and I think the lyrics might be up on the screen, and we can sing it together, and then we'll move into meditation together. Spirit, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are beautiful. Here in the light that surrounds us, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are powerful. Spirit, we are powerful. Trusting in the mind that guides us, we are powerful. Spirit, we are bountiful. Spirit, we are bountiful. Thank you for the life that sustains us. We are bountiful. Spirit, beautiful. Spirit, powerful. Spirit, beautiful. Spirit. And now I just want to invite you all to close your eyes. And we're going to take some time in meditation and just take a deep breath and release it. And one more time, let's just take another deep breath and release it. And feel yourself supported right where you are. Feel yourself supported by the chair that you're sitting in, by the floor beneath your feet, by the walls around you. Feel yourself supported by the sound of my voice that knows only the very best for you. right where you are sitting in the divine power that nourishes you. You are sitting in the middle of the very essence of good itself. Feel it enfolding you. Feel it whispering words of love to you. Every day, goodness finds me. My good has no boundaries. Just take a second to let that fill your heart. And now listen. Listen as the goodness of God shares the way that goodness has shown up in your life this week. And as you review all the ways that the goodness of God has shown up in your life, in your mind, picture yourself writing that down or taking a snapshot of each one of those things. You're going to fold up that little note or that little snapshot that you took, and you're going to tuck it into your heart. And when you need to be reminded of God's goodness, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to read that note. Or you're going to look at that picture and be reminded that every day goodness finds you. It has no boundary. At any moment of your day, you could find some little way that God is saying, I celebrate you. I love you. I support you. And now, take a moment to think of someone you know who needs to be reminded that goodness finds them every day. Who's that person who's stuck being a Lucy instead of a muffin? And hold them in your heart right now and in your thoughts. Be a source of goodness that shows up in their lives. And right here and right now, hold them in your heart and say their name in the affirmation. Every day, goodness finds you. Your good has no boundaries. God is goodness. I am goodness. I live in the heart of goodness every day. And right now, I'm going to invite Christy to take us out of meditation and prayer. It is this morning to come together in that goodness community, in the goodness of knowing within our hearts that we are believers, that we are way showers, that we are knowers of truth, and yes, that we have that muffin consciousness alive and well in our hearts as God's greatest gift to itself, you and me. And so I know right here and right now for all of us that right where we are, God is, unbound by time, unbound by space, unbound by circumstance. And so as we move forward into this week with these lessons and the seeds of truth that they carry firmly planted in our hearts, we know that the call is ours to respond with love, with light, with goodness, always and in all ways. We know that it is ours to contribute our consciousness of that truth to the greater good of this spiritual community, of the town or city that we live in, of these United States, and of this world of ours. And then we also know that in those moments when we forget, because we surely will, that we have activated and given permission to those around us to bring forth the reminder of that truth. That right where we are, God is, and that goodness cannot be taken away or diminished or limited. So let us give thanks this morning for that knowingness. Let us give thanks for the power and the blessing of spiritual community, no matter what form or shape it takes. And let us give thanks this morning for knowing that God and we are truly one, always and in all ways. And so with a grateful heart, I know that I speak these words on behalf of all of us in realizing this truth right here and right now as we release this prayer into the law, knowing that it is done and so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. All right. And I just want to thank you all for having me here with you this morning. I had such a wonderful time being with you guys. And I just as you guys get ready to go out into your Sunday, just go knowing that you are blessed. And thanks again for spending this time with me. Thank you, Peggy, for having me here again to share my music and my message with you. And I look forward to seeing you all again.
Excellent, excellent. And I can see why you've won these positive music awards. Your messages your music is wonderful that way, and your message was very good information. I think we can all say, WWMD. What would Muffin do, right? So let's keep that in mind. A couple things I would say for me that helps me is I consider myself a positive person, but we all, as positive as we might be, we all have our moments, right? And I think have the people around you remind you when you're not being positive. My wife is very good at that, and I mean it in a good way. She'll say, you're being a little negative, or if you have people keep you on task, it'll help catch you from those negative moments. And then the other thing I do a lot is I think of my legacy. I just think of how do people think about you when you're not in the room, when you move on, whatever, do they say what a neat positive person that, or boy, he's such a curmudgeon, or right? Just think about what people are saying. That helps keep me to task as well, so
yeah, definitely. That's really great.
Yep. So anyway, thanks again. Wonderful message today to kick off our Sunday. All right. So moving on, in this time of COVID and Zoom, we still have considerable expenses to maintain our beautiful center in anticipation of our eventual return. All of us who are fond of and connected to Unity of the Valley are immensely grateful for your monetary contributions to keep our community growing and thriving, as well as the participation in our services. We affirm the natural expansion of our own prosperity, as well as that of Unity of the Valley, as we give of our time, talents, and treasure with the high vibration of gratitude and an open heart. Let's read the love offering affirmation together, and then you'll have time while Denise sings to consider your love offering. You may make your contribution after the service either by mailing a check to the center or via the donate button on our website. Please join me in this love offering affirmation. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
All that I have is blessed. All that I give is blessed. All that I am is blessed. Blessed. All that I have is enough. All that I have is enough. All that I give is enough. All that I am is enough. Blessed. Thankful, so thankful. Thankful, I am thankful. All that I have is blessed. All that I have is blessed. All that I give is blessed. All that I am is blessed. Blessed. All that I have is enough. All that I give is enough. All that I am is enough. Blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed.
Now I invite everyone to join me in blessing all contributions and good of any kind so generously given to support Unity of the Valley this week. Together, we affirm that God is our source and we are the channels. We bless these gifts given in love that serve our spiritual family and flow out into our community and beyond. We are prosperous and blessed with abundant good. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. I want to remind you of a few opportunities as we move into this new year. Don't forget you can recharge every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. on Unity of the Valley's Facebook page by joining in a live meditation, which is being offered at other Unity centers and Unity Village concurrently. Lynn Woodland's Miracles course continues every Wednesday via Zoom from 7 to 8:15 p.m. for a donation to Unity of the Valley of any amount per class. It's on the honor system and you can use the donate button on our website. This month, Catherine Belisle's Max Meditation, which includes guided visualization, is tomorrow, Monday, January 18th from 7 to 8 p.m. Cost is still $10 while we're on Zoom. Please register ahead of time with the link in the buzz or on our website. The recording of Deborah Engel's no-cost webinar workshop, Free Yourself for More Joy, is available in the buzz and on the website until January 31st. If you didn't register for the class, don't miss this opportunity to have this recording. Also, be aware that her 5-class special ends January 31st as well. All Deb's classes will help you tune up for 2021. Please check out the buzz and on our website under the classes tab for details. Join us next Sunday as Reverend Sandra McKinney returns, speaking on the intriguing subject of the double thread. Sandra is always informative and inspiring. And finally, if you don't receive the weekly buzz and would like to, you can opt in on our website, info@unityofthevalleymn.org, or email us at info@unityofthevalleymn.org. You may submit prayer requests for our prayer chaplains at the same email address or ask for a prayer chaplain to call you. We also encourage you to subscribe to our Unity of the Valley YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and visit our website to learn more about us. Please join me now for our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds me. I am that light. The love of God enfolds me. I am that love. The power of God protects me. I am that power. The presence of God watches over me. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. Before we close, let's take a moment to send our appreciation to our brother in spirit, Martin Luther King Jr., whose legacy of love we celebrate tomorrow. He was truly a leading light in our world. Many important reminders he gave us was expressed in this quote: "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Those of us in Unity know that whatever we do for others, we do for ourselves, and all that is God. Thank you for that reminder, Dr. King. And thank you for joining us today. Be well and please stay connected with Unity. If you'd like to be part of the Zoom social, please stay logged in after this meeting, after our closing song, and say hi to your Unity friends and guests. We will now conclude as Denise leads us in our closing song, Joy in My Day. Feel free to sing along at home.
All right, and we're just going to have this song be our mantra as we move into our week. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day. Love in the words I say, love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. Love in the words I say, love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. We are lifted up, we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher, and we are lifted up, we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher. Now we're going to sing this song as a community. We're going to know these words are true for ourselves, for our neighbors, for the world around us. Love in the words we say, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take, joy in our day. Love in the words we say, love in the words we say, peace in the world we make, peace in the world we make, God in every breath we take, God in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. We are lifted up, and we are lifted up, we are lifted up higher, Bless you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday.